Good morning, everyone. I hope you're keeping well and everything is okay with you. Just a reminder, do let us know if there's anything you need, or if you know of any needs that anybody else has, please do get in touch with us. We had a lovely evening last night with Patso, and those who were there I think really enjoyed it, and I've just had a message from her this morning saying how much she enjoyed it as well. So it was great to be part of that. And just a reminder that next week's midweek we're doing a similar thing with Steve Burton as well, and we'll remind you of that next week. Also looking forward to being together eventually, hopefully in church, but not yet this Sunday. But looking forward to sharing with you this Sunday as we continue through Mark's Gospel at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. We're going to read this morning from Mark chapter 12. And beginning at verse 28. One of the scribes came up and heard them disputing with one another, and seeing that he answered them well, asked him, "Which commandment is the most important of all?" Jesus answered, "The most important is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. Second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." The scribe said to him, "You are right, teacher. You have truly said that he is one, and there is no other besides him. And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the strength, and to love one's neighbor as oneself, is much more than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices." And when Jesus saw that he answered wisely, he said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." After that, no one dared to ask him any more questions. Jesus faces a different kind of test from this scribe who comes up to him. Other religious leaders have been trying to trap Jesus, trying to get him to say something that would turn the crowd against him, or trying to get him to make a mistake. But this scribe is not interested in those kinds of games. That's not what he's doing here. He's been listening to Jesus. He has been impressed by Jesus. And now he's testing Jesus to see if he's genuine. Not to try and trap him, but to discover where his heart really is. This kind of test is like testing precious metal, to bring out the qualities of it. And so he asks him, "Teacher, what is the greatest, what is the most important commandment?" And Jesus sums it up with the word love. Love is the key to all the commandments, all the law, the whole sacrificial system of the temple, everything that God is about. Love is the key. And it's important and to some degree controversial in this situation, because there Jesus is with this scribe and his disciples and others listening in, presumably, surrounded by the temple structures, surrounded by the evidence of all the sacrificial rules and regulations. And in the midst of all of this that is built up over time, that is so important to the religious leaders in Jerusalem, Jesus declares that there is no law, there is no rule, there is no regulation that supersedes the law of love. And that every law, every rule, every regulation is fulfilled by the law of love. There is no commandment greater than these. The scribe, when he hears Jesus' answer, agrees wholeheartedly and wisely, and also in this context courageously recognizes that love for God and neighbour are far more important, or go above and beyond any amount of sacrifices that could be made in the temple. And in doing that, he's only reflecting what the prophets had said long ago, that God takes no pleasure in multiple burnt offerings if people aren't demonstrating their love to him and their obedience to him. This scribe has grasped something that is essential to faith and discipleship, that is essential to life in the kingdom, and that's why Jesus says to him, you're not far. You're not far from life in the kingdom. The step, I suppose, he has to take is to put his trust in Jesus, to come and follow him. And discipleship, following Jesus, is about love. It is about wholehearted love for God, mind, soul, strength. It's about all of those things, giving ourselves to him, making sure that there's nothing that gets in the way, nothing like in the rich young ruler's case, for example, that we're holding on to so tightly that we can't then hold on to him. Wholehearted love for God and generous love for our neighbour. Generous love that will mean kindness, will mean looking out for each other, will mean caring for those who have less, will mean looking out for the least of these. You remember the children that Jesus came and put in front of the disciples and said, welcome these. Love for neighbour means we do that. We care for the least of these. So let me ask you today, whatever you're doing, whether you're stuck at home, whether you're out on the limited kind of messages or things that you can do today, where can you show wholehearted, generous love for God and for neighbour? In a shop, online, with those you like, maybe with those you don't like. How do you show your love today? I just heard last night of an example of one of our young people who has stood up for his faith in Jesus and has suffered for it, has been made fun of by folks in school, but has held on to that, and as a result has a group of new friends who also are Christians, who are supporting one another. He was determined to show that he was somebody who loves God. So where can you today show your love for God, even if it costs a little bit, even if it's not the most popular thing to do, even if it puts you out there? Where can you show love for God, generosity and kindness for your neighbour and for those around you? God bless.